Stephanie, it's great to have you here. I want to make sure everybody knows what you think the gravity of this SCOTUS implications is. You say you expect the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg to go down as the most impactful individual political event of the 2020 election cycle, which is saying something given this election cycle. And you say you don't think it's hyperbole to characterize the event as a contender for the most impactful political event of the first half of the 21st century. So, explain all of the ramifications that we should possibly be watching for here.
Yeah, so there's the near term, the midterm, and the long term. The near term is what it's done to blow up the stimulus talks, as Kayla was just talking about. The midterm is what it does for the election, which is obviously going to be a big deal. We can unpack that. And the long term is what happens if Democrats win. They are now threatening to do some really big things to structurally change the face of U.S. government as we know it. They're talking about adding more seats to the Supreme Court. They're talking about removing the filibuster in the Senate so that bills can pass with just a simple majority of 51 senators. These would be huge changes. They're talking about adding D.C., where I am, to a statehood, Puerto Rico to statehood. These would help Democrats get more votes, have more representation in Congress. So basically what Democrats are saying is, Republicans, if you move forward with this, which Republicans are clearly doing, to fill the seat as quickly as possible, Democrats are not going to hesitate to do some big things to strike back if they win.
And it's fascinating, Stephanie, because that's the scenario if they win. If they don't, if the Republican wins or there's not enough control to make those moves right away, and you have this Supreme Court that now has an added conservative, I see people who are painting all kinds of deregulatory scenarios that may come to pass across a host of industries in the meantime, right?
Absolutely. Not to even mention that the next very, very, very important Supreme Court case could be deciding who's in the White House.
Yep.
And so right now, the Republicans have an advantage. The number of justices that they have nominated, so the number of conservative justices now definitely outweigh the number of liberal justices. So if it comes down to picking Trump versus Biden, Trump now has the edge. What McConnell needs to do and what Biden needs to do and what Trump needs to do, so these are all the majority leader, Mitch McConnell, and then the two presidential contestants, is really stoke enthusiasm to get people to turn out to vote. And one of the best ways to do that from the Republicans' perspective is to leave this almost but not completely figured out. So I would not expect actually a final Senate floor vote ahead of the election. The best thing for Biden to do ahead of this is to tell people that this is so unfair, this is this huge crisis, and he's really resonating with Democratic voters. So I think all in, anger and fear tend to motivate voters better than anything else. So I do think that Democrats have a bit of an edge right now than Republicans do.